Before we dive in, please note that the content of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or mental health concern. Now on to the episode. Welcome to Life Unfolded, the podcast where we dive into the beautiful chaos of growing up, navigating love and relationships, and forging a fulfilling career. I'm your host, Melody Jordan, a 30-something creative professional who's taken life by the horns. In this podcast, I'll share my personal experiences and the hard-earned lessons I've learned along the way to inspire and empower you to live your most authentic life. Whether you're seeking advice, a fresh perspective, or just a good story, join me as we explore the twists and turns of life's unfolding journey. Let's get started. So this morning I was at the gym and I thought about this moment from my time when I lived in LA and was playing in a band. And it popped into my head because it's such a perfect example of something that I believe deeply and try to live by. It's that if you want something badly enough, you will find a way to make it happen. You have to, because nobody is coming to rescue your dream. Nobody's going to organize it for you, and nobody is going to hand you permission. You need to write your own permission slip. You have to decide that you're doing it and then figure it out. So here's the story that I was thinking about. Back when I was living in Southern California, I was in a band, a couple of different bands, and this first version of the band was called New Air. And it was pretty heavy rock. All the guys were really into metal. And I was a huge Paramore fan. So we kind of merged and had this sound that was like Evanescence meets Paramore. It was super fun. We were playing shows around LA and, doing our thing. And like bands do, it sort of fell apart for a little while. So I went back to doing solo stuff, just performing me and my guitar like I'm doing now. And then one day something really funny happened. This is a second story. We're going to go on a little rabbit trail. I was working in a salon at the time, and I was cleaning up my tools after finishing a haircut, and somebody snuck up behind me and tapped my shoulders. And I remember my coworkers telling me later, like they were kind of looking at each other like, should we be concerned about this? Because this tall man was like creeping up behind me and telling them to shush. Well, it turns out it was one of the producers that had worked with our band. And he just goes, hey, we're getting the band back together. And so, yeah, we did. The second life of the band was a little bit different. My name's Melody Rose. And so I was going by Melrose Jordan at that time. I thought it was, good for marketing. Melrose Avenue is really popular in LA, and it's just kind of a catchy name. So we went with the Melrose Band and played my originals and some covers. Our sound kind of evolved a bit. It was still rock, but had some country and pop and maybe a little 70s rock vibes. And I wanted to branch this out from LA. So I booked us a gig in Fresno, which is my hometown. And this was kind of a big deal because two of the band members were out of state at that time, and they bought plane tickets to fly back to LA so we could all go to Fresno and play the show. So, we coordinated schedules, flights, promotions, all of that. And then I emailed the booking company that booked the show a couple days before because I hadn't heard from them in a while, like since booking the show. So I just wanted to check in, and I don't remember exactly what the excuse was, but they said, oh, sorry, the gig is canceled. It was something like they never secured the venue or they forgot about it. They forgot to promote it. It was just something that seemed really ridiculous. But either way, there was no show. And I was just like, are you kidding me? We have band members flying in for this. Like, we made this a priority. We did our part, and they totally dropped the ball. And this is the moment where I had a choice. I could have thrown my hands up and been like, well, guess it didn't work out. And sorry, guys, for losing money on plane tickets. Oh, well. Or I could get a little stubborn And if you've known me for a while, you probably know which one happened. Because I've had this personality trait that occasionally rears its head, where if someone tells me that I can't do something, my brain goes, "Oh, really? Well, watch me." So I started calling venues, bars, clubs, lounges, and eventually found this cool little lounge that was willing to let us come play. They had a stage and everything. And so guess what? The band members still flew in, we still drove to Fresno, and we still played a show. It was a different venue, different circumstances, but the mission happened. And this part makes me laugh a little because I had originally found that booking company through Craigslist, which, if you were around back then, Craigslist was like the Wild West of music gigs. It's where I actually found my band. So I went to the Fresno Craigslist page and posted a warning about the company, something like, "Don't book with this company, they will flake on you," and kind of share the experience. And I don't necessarily recommend doing something like that, but I'm also not recommending it. I'll leave that one up to your discretion. But the bigger lesson here is this: dreams almost never happen in a straight line. Actually, I will say they never happen in a straight line because things fall apart, people cancel, and opportunities disappear. If every obstacle is enough to make you quit, then your dream is going to stay an idea forever. But if you decide, okay, that didn't work, what else could work? That's when things start moving again. And that's something I realized over and over in my life, in my music, in business, and starting my productions company. The people who eventually get somewhere are rarely the people who had perfect circumstances. They're the ones who refuse to stop problem solving. They're the ones who hit roadblocks and then get back up and try again. They're the ones who say, okay, that door closed, where's the next one? Because if you want something badly enough, it's already inside of you. You can do it. You just have to decide that you're going to. You have to decide that you're not done yet and keep trying. Looking back on this now, it feels like such a small moment. Just the band scrambling to replace a gig. Happens every day, I'm sure. But when I think about it, moments like that are actually the ones that shape the entire direction of our lives. Because life doesn't unfold in moments where everything goes according to plan. Life unfolds in the moments where the plans fall apart, and then you decide what you're going to do next. Do you quit? Do you shrink? Do you decide the door closing means the story's over? Or do you get on the phone, start calling, and find another way forward? That night in Fresno wasn't just about playing a show. It was proof that there is always another path if you're willing to look for it. And I think that's something a lot of us forget. We think successful people had something perfect laid out for them, like things just worked out. But the truth is, most of the time, they just refused to stop when things got inconvenient, messy, or uncertain. They kept moving. They kept asking questions. They kept learning. They kept finding another way. And when I look back on my own life, music, business, everything in between, I realize that so much of it unfolded not because things went smoothly, because they definitely have not, but because I've kept going even when things didn't go smoothly. And I think that's the real lesson. Life doesn't unfold because everything goes right. Life unfolds because you keep showing up, solving problems, and stepping forward even when the map disappears, even when you have to create your own map. If this episode resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you shared it with someone who could use a little pep talk this morning. I believe in you. Whatever it is you're setting out to do, you can do it. I will talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Life Unfolded. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and leave us a review letting us know how much you love it. See you next time.